Brindley, happy Monday. I am so excited to be here with you guys. So tonight's topic's interesting. I've shared with you guys before, sometimes these topics are planned, sometimes they come up just randomly, in the day. And this one came up this morning at 5:30 in the morning as I was trekking through the Houston Hobby Airport, coming home from a great weekend with some friends in Houston. And I'm walking through the airport, and things pop in my head at random times. I mean, if you guys knew what the committee was like up there, and I was like, what am I going to do for breakthrough tonight? I need to kind of think about that and meditate on it. And it immediately came to me, and the topic was I am responsible. And I started going through why this topic popped up. And the reason it popped up, and this might be a little controversial, so I just want you guys to know that I'm just sharing with you an experience that I had. I don't have really any strong opinions about it. I'm strictly sharing from an observational standpoint of what I saw and then what my thoughts were. So I'm just going to ask if you disagree, if you don't agree, let's keep it all kind and helpful and purposeful if we're going to put anything in the comments. So I rented a car while I was in Houston, and I had to drop it off this morning. And there was a line to drop off because the rental car place didn't open at 6 a.m. So there were about probably 8 to 10 cars that had lined up waiting for them to open the gate so that we could go in and do our rental car returns. And we all pull in, and we kind of pull in, follow each other into the lanes, and there's one shuttle bus. And people start to unload from their cars, and we don't have to do anything. We just have to leave our keys in the cars, and they start to get on the shuttle bus. And I'm probably about the third or fourth person that gets on the bus. And people keep getting on the bus. And slowly they start sitting in the seats that say, we're social distancing, this seat is not reserved. And you can start to see that people are getting a little bit uncomfortable on the shuttle bus. And the driver didn't do anything to stop anyone, didn't decide whether or not it was right or the right time to let people on or to stop people and wait for another shuttle. There just was no leadership on the shuttle. And so we all just kind of sat there. I think we were kind of amongst one another saying we were uncomfortable, but no one made a really big deal out of it until we got to the airport. And a woman on the shuttle made a really big deal about it, asked for the woman's name, said it wasn't right, that she was responsible for the shuttle, and that she should have made a decision to stop people from coming on the shuttle because there were signs everywhere honoring social distancing. And so I sat and I reflected on this, and I thought, it's very easy to point the finger at the person that's driving the bus, right? Like, that's the person, their responsibility is that bus. Yet then I really thought about it, and I went, okay, so let's sit in her shoes for a minute. Where was a disconnect that she didn't feel that she had the authority to own her responsibility, to own her lane? Clearly, she didn't feel that she was able to make the decisions to fully be responsible for that shuttle. Because when the woman was confronted about it, she was at a loss. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to even handle the woman that was coming at her. And so it really just started making me reflect on responsibility and the definition of responsible. And there were a lot of years in my life when I wasn't responsible, and I didn't take my responsibilities seriously. I would make commitments. Nobody ever really gave me anything because they knew that I wouldn't honor it. I wouldn't show up. I wasn't the responsible one. You didn't give me your keys at the end of the night because if I had been drinking, I would drive, right? I wasn't responsible. I didn't think about how my actions would affect everyone else. I didn't put any stock or seriousness into responsibility. And so it really prompted me to dig into, what does it mean to be responsible? And what is responsibility? Because responsibility is a noun, responsible is an adjective. So taking responsibility, some of the definitions that our wonderful friend Webster gives us is, it's the state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or have control over someone. So we take responsibility for our teams, right? If that bus driver had felt, or that shuttle driver had felt empowered, she would have felt empowered to take responsibility for everyone on the shuttle who needed to get there, not be late for their planes, yet also honor the social distancing and the comfort of the other passengers. It's the state or act of being accountable, or it rises and falls with you, right? You can be blamed if something doesn't happen. It's also the opportunity, the ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. I want you guys to listen to that one. The opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization. This woman clearly did not feel that she could act independently and make decisions without authorization. So therefore, she was not set up with the systems, tools, models, help, training, whatever it was, to fully be responsible for that shuttle. So from a leadership perspective, I want y'all to think about this. Are you giving responsibility to people, yet not empowering them or giving them what they need to fully act out their responsibility? Because that falls on us as leaders. If that woman didn't feel empowered to make decisions about who got on that shuttle without authorization, then she was not given what she needed to take full responsibility. So we want to make sure as leaders that we're doing that. It's a moral obligation to behave correctly toward or in respect of. And so this then came to my self-responsibility, right? So then after this, I started reflecting, well, what was my responsibility in this? As a passenger on this shuttle, should I have said something? Should I file a complaint with National? Would it be a complaint? Should I just provide feedback? Like all of these things start going through my mind because it's very easy for me to sit back and say, well, I can see how that woman's upset and I can see how she didn't, and I can just be the puppet, the puppeteer. Yet, am I really willing to take responsibility for my partner? I was a passenger on the shuttle. And I think that's something too that we have to think about is sometimes doing the responsible thing isn't always the most popular. It's not always comfortable to do the responsible thing. Yet when we take our responsibility seriously, we're willing to do whatever it takes to honor that responsibility. Now, being responsible is a little bit different, right? That means that we're accountable. That means that we take our leadership seriously. We take our responsibilities seriously. We have accountability around what our responsibilities are. We have the capacity for moral decisions, and therefore, again, we're capable, we're rational, we're responsible individuals, and we're able to, be reliable, dependable. And so I just ask you, number one, are you honoring your responsibilities? Number two, do you know what your responsibilities are? And do you know what's required of you to honor those responsibilities? And then when you're not sure, are you accountable to asking? Are you accountable to saying, what am I responsible for? And do I take my responsibilities seriously? And again, responsibilities are just another form of commitment. It all ties back to, are we honoring our word, right? And do we have what we need in order to fulfill our responsibilities? So I won't go on any further. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think there's some really great leadership moments in there. I think there's self-accountable and self-responsible lessons there, to really reflect on how we want to show up, right? We're in a very, it's a different society, it's a different temperature, it's a different place now, and we all have different responsibilities. And I think we're all responsible for what's happening around us and being a part of the change that we want to see and being a part of helping elevate our country and where we're at right now. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.